All right, Josephine, I want to start with you a roadmap of the evidence here. And I'm going to start. This is the complaint that I sent you. I sent this complaint to the U.S. DOJ in October 2020. And I will forward you that email. But I'd originally submitted a complaint in March of 2020 to the U.S. DOJ. And their response was that they needed a more detailed complaint. At that time, my complaint was about 10 pages. And so they want more detailed, and more detailed is what they got. You can see that this complaint is, it's 130 pages. And it's actually 123 are the actual main complaints. But we got some extra stuff here. This part that's blacked out, this is my email address and stuff like this, and I blacked that out because I've been sending this, publishing this online publicly through Amazon CloudFront and trying to get the media to get a hold of it. And I don't want the whole world knowing my email address. And so my contact information is blacked out. And because this is such a long document, I'll go over it for you and explain some things. I'm Leonard Clinton Williams III. I go by Leonard or Clint, or Clinton, either one. Leonard, Clint, Clinton, whatever you want to call me. And another thing I'll mention real fast is I'm autistic. Okay, I have a condition called autism spectrum disorder without accompanying intellectual impairment. Okay, and I tend to be kind of hyper focused and very, very, very intense. And ask you to please accommodate for that. This complaint, the way it works is the first thing is a summary of everything that's occurred, and then I have a narration. I give a narration of the background of all this, and then I start getting into the actual the unlawful events that occurred. And when I talk about unlawful events and crimes, that section will be followed by an analysis section. So, for instance, April 2019 here. Okay, so here's the section with April 2019 and the first crimes. And this section will be followed by an analysis section. So I go down here. You'll see that analysis of April 2019 and the first crimes. And so this is where I kind of analyze the evidence. Now my evidence is linked at the back of this complaint, and I'll go over it very shortly in this video or in subsequent videos. I will go over the evidence, which is back here. I'll show you. Got these links here. Okay. Yeah, there's here's a bunch of evidence files. But the gist of this is that I spent the first, from ages 8 to ages 30, because I'm 41 right now. I just turned 41 this month. But from ages 8 to 30, I lived in the mountains of western North Carolina. That's primarily where I lived. And I had a history of stigmatization because I had been to a mental hospital when I was 18. I was doing a bunch of hallucinogens. And these drugs, a certain portion of the people that take these hallucinogenic drugs will develop an ongoing brain chemistry problem, mental illness that has to be medicated. Now, I've been stable for decades, but when I was in this hospital, I was in very, very bad condition. Now, the problem is the people down there in the mountains where I live, in the mountains of western North Carolina, they did not perceive this place as a hospital because the stigmatization of mental illness and stuff like this, it was perceived as a place where they got people chained to the walls and stuff like this. And I was stigmatized to no end due to my being in this hospital. So I move out of this hell in 2011, and I move to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is about 115 miles away from where I lived in the mountains. I moved here to start a new life, and I had different jobs. And I mentioned I ended up working for Wells Fargo in 2014, and it's in 2017 that the senior manager has this employee, quote unquote, look into my past or inquire about my past. Now, this is a civil law violation in America. I'm sure it probably works the same in the UK, but we have civil law, we have criminal law, and this invasion of my privacy was a civil law violation. Now, this girl that inquires about my past Here's all the same garbage that went around about me that's so disparaging about my mental health history. I've been to a mental institution, and this kind of stuff that people say. And immediately my workplace turns into hell. And so I didn't know that she was the one. So I didn't know that Wells Fargo was up to it. That Wells Fargo was behind it for a very long time. Me and this girl fight about this. Again, it happens in December 2017. We fought about it for about a year and a half until we get to April 2019. And in April 2019 is when it escalates, and Wells Fargo initiates a slew of crimes. They involved my hospital in these crimes, and my hospital eventually throws their cards in fully with Wells Fargo, and I've been subjected to ongoing criminal victimization of Wells Fargo and my hospital for a very, very long time now. And hopefully that helps with this complaint, because again, it's very, very detailed, because that's what the DOJ asked for when I first sent it. And of course now when I send stuff, they don't even reply, because as I'll explain in subsequent videos, there's a massive government-sponsored cover-up going on. But I want to cut this video off, and I'll pick up in video 2.